Hello there, and welcome to Code Panthers. This is your host Fardeen Khan, and you're watching another video on the Firebase tutorial series. So, in the last few videos, we have talked about the various services, the products that Firebase is offering to enhance your user experience in your applications and make it easy for you to connect to serverless backend services. We also created our first demo project. So if you have followed the previous project, you must have something like this on your screen, Firebase demo, a temporary project that we have created for the purpose of explaining all the features. We have also explored the demo project. So we are now clear with what kind of services are offered by Firebase. So it is now time to actually create an Android application and connect it to the Firebase project so we can leverage all these benefits and the services that Firebase is providing. So again, if you have followed the previous project video, then you will be having this Firebase demo project created in your console. If you have not done it, then I would suggest follow the previous video. The link will be in description, and you can see a banner hanging over here so that you can get started with this video. So after you have created your project, just click on it. You will get to the dashboard. So right now there are no cards present, there is no information as there is no application and no services enabled. So first of all, what we will do is connect it to an Android application. So you see your options are iOS, Android, web, or Unity. We are going to connect it to an Android application. So let us click on this. Okay, so this is the add Firebase to your Android app form kind of a thing. First we have to register our application, then we have to download a configuration file, then we have to add the Firebase SDK, and finally complete the step. So in the first step, we need an Android package name. Now, if you are familiar with how Android native development works, then each and every application has a package name which is unique to it. Otherwise, it will create some complexity when we are uploading similar packages or apps with the same package name. Because that is the only thing by which we can differentiate apps on the Play Store. So it is very important that you have unique package names for your application. Then it is simple and nickname. Let us say it is demo Android. Okay, and finally an SHA-1 key. Now an SHA-1 key is basically this long text separated by semicolons. It is an hexadecimal value. It is required only in the cases as it is mentioned here, for when we are using dynamic links, invites, Google sign-in, or phone number support, etc. Only in those cases we will actually need to provide it. I will show you how it is generated, how we can use it. So first of all, we have to have an existing Android Studio project. Now since I am showing how to do all this from the scratch, I will also create a new project in Android Studio. If you are not familiar with Android Studio, if you do not know how to create a new project, what it is used for, then I will suggest you that you go through the videos that I post here in the description link for that, or you can see the banner right here. It will lead you to that video. Come back quickly after viewing that and we can continue. So okay, right now I assume that you are familiar with what Android Studio is. So let us create a new project. So it will tell you what is your target device, where like that is the smartwatches, TV, in your car or in IoT devices. So simply we are selecting phone and tablet. You can select a beginner option such as no activity or empty activity. I will select empty activity. It will generate some code. So okay, click on next. Okay, so the name of the application can be very simple. Let us just name as the project. So you can see that it will automatically populate the folder with by creating a new one of the same name as the project by removing all the special characters, of course. So the main important part of this form is the package name. Now a package name, as I said, is a unique identifier. How do you choose a package name? So for example, you are a business that is like me, has a domain with them. So the domain that I have is the name of codepanthers.tech. It can be google.com, it can be apple.com. Similarly, we have one that is codepanthers.tech. Now suppose I want to create a package name using this domain, then only thing I have to do is reverse this domain. For example, just reverse it. It will be tech.codepanthers. This will be the beginning part of my domain, the package name, so that all the applications that I will create will have this part in the front, so it can be identified that I am the developer, or codepanthers.tech is the developer of this application. Now after that, we have to create add a bit more part to it so that it will be uniquely identified even amongst my old projects. So for example, we are working on Firebase, so I will say tech.codepanthers.firebase, and since this is a demo, I will say .demo. So just by creating this, we can also remove the dot here and just name it Firebase demo. It will work, but for simplicity matters, I am creating it in 4 different parts: tech.codepanthers.firebase.demo. Okay, paste it here just like it was showing there. Right now we are not concerned about languages or minimum SDK versions because this is just a simple demo project. Okay, click on finish. It will take a bit of time to process the build the Gradle files. Now we will talk about what Gradle is in upcoming time because it is a very important part of Android native development. So also there is an option for either using Kotlin or Java when using Android Studio. We will also build some more projects regarding that. Okay, so while we wait for it, I think it is complete. So we will go to the form, paste the package name that we have created here, and then this optional debug signing certificate SHA1. I will show you how it is generated, but it is not always necessary. As I said, just read these few lines and you will understand if you need them or not. So to generate this, you first have to open your project in Android Studio. Then look on the right hand panel, you will see an option on the topmost part which is called Gradle. Click on that. You will see the name of your project expanded. It has an elephant symbol, which is the symbol for Gradle. Now same name as in your left panel, you can see app. There will be a name here, app. Expand it again. Go to tasks and go to Android. And finally, you will see the option with a gear symbol called signing report. I will repeat myself again. First of all, go to Gradle, then your project name expanded, then the module name that you see here as well. So it will be app, then open tasks, then go to Android, and finally double click on the signing report. So this is basically a Gradle script which will be automatically updated. See, this is the project name colon module name, and this is the script signing report. When it is executed, it will create these signing reports. Using its signing reports, it will create some debug keys. Now there are various versions of it. For example, this is a variant of debug. This is a variant of debug Android test, then release unit test, similarly, right? So what our target is, as it is explained here, we need a debug signing certificate. So one of actually, if you look at all of them, they are having the same values. But anyways, we will copy the one that has the variant debug and paste it right here. Do remember that it will be same for all the projects because it is dependent on your system and Android Studio, not on different projects. So it will be, if you keep it safe somewhere and use it again and again without going through this step to generate it again, it will be same. So no worries there. So now what we have actually done is registered our application using its package name and its signing report onto the Firebase. The next step is to connect our application to Firebase. So for that, there is a configuration file by the name google-services.json. This JSON file has to be placed in a particular place in our project. So you can see the image here. So what it is saying that first we have to select the option project. So there are various views, or we can say the project structure can be divided into various categories. For example, when there are a lot of files actually which are not important to us when we are only writing code. So if we select the Android option, we will only see the code related part which we actually work with. But when we click on maybe packages, all these different files are visible to us. So let us just go to the root folder, that is project. This Firebase demo folder actually exists on this path and will exactly look like this only when we see it from the file explorer. So in this project name, we need to go to the app module and place the downloaded file right here. So what I will do is just download the google services.json file and simply drag it into the app folder. You can change the path from here as well or change the name, but you should not change the name, otherwise it will not work. And I will not open this file as it will contain some sensitive information regarding my Firebase console. So I will just leave it at that. But you can see that this file is present in the app folder. Once that is done, we need to add the actual SDK or the software development kit for calling into functions that are present in the Firebase library. So what is going to happen is that whenever we are looking forward to using the code of Firebase called the services, we have to actually use these libraries that are provided in part of dependencies in Android. So let us say where these dependencies are. So again, move over to your file structure view to Android so that you can see the files that are noted here. Now these are files that are Gradle files. So all these are present together in the Gradle scripts. You can see the file that we are looking for is called build.gradle, but we can see two options for it: build.gradle with a project and build.gradle with the module. So what it means that this build.gradle file is meant for the entire application. It has configuration related to the entire project. while this build.gradle file is only related to this app module. So actually in Android, we can have more than one modules. You can see one here, we can create more. In fact, I think the option will be yes, you can create more modules. There are a number of types of modules here. Okay. So these modules will be present just like this folder app, but the app one is the main entry point for the application. So that is why we have a build.gradle for that. So these two files have to be manipulated as we are looking at here. So first thing we need to do is check whether build script repositories has a line that looks like this, Google. So let us see in the project build.gradle file. Okay, this is our build script, and in the repositories we have the line Google. Okay, it's done. Second, we have to add this line, which is class path com.google.gms or Google services something. Yes. So Google managed services will be added in this line just below the other class path. So what it will do is use this Google repository, and from that will fetch this particular library. So this is a library which is present in a repository which is hosted over the internet. Okay. Then moving on to the all projects repositories, we have to check if this line is present. All projects repositories Google. Okay, most of the time it is already present, so you don't have to worry about it. Now moving on to the next file, you have options for Java and Kotlin. Since we have built the project in Kotlin, we will select Kotlin. Okay, see the difference is that the libraries that we are using are different because we are moving between Java and Kotlin. So first of all, when we open this line, this file I mean, from here build.gradle for module. So the first thing that we have to add is apply this plugin, this GMS Google Services plugin right below the plugin that is for Android applications. Now I don't see this. I think the logic has changed somewhere, I guess. Okay, so the code for this has changed, but it is not updated here. What we have to do is go with this. Okay, we just need to take the string that is with apply plugin and add it as here. I think this is a new syntax that we have created in plugins. Create a new line with the ID and then just add the name of the library or the plugin that we are using. So this plugin com.google.gms, just put it like this. Okay, so this is done. Next we move on to the dependencies sections. Here, right here, we have a lot of dependencies already, and we need to use either import the Firebase BOM or the I guess this is for analytics. Okay, so BOM is a different kind of way for us to import all the services from Firebase. We can configure it and we can add whichever service we want. So let me just search around it, Firebase BOM. Actually I have not used it that often. So I think it is one of the way that Firebase libraries are delivered. Okay, so what it will do is that Firebase is now, instead of managing or implementing the dependencies for each and every services that we require. For example, right now we can see Firebase Analytics. There is another implementation for Firebase Authorization, then again for Cloud Firestore, and then again for remote config or something like that. There will be a lot of libraries and it will be very difficult to manage their versions each and all. So what do we do instead are using BOM or bill of materials, which is a single implementation of this. With this line of code, we are specifying a version for all the Firebase libraries that we are going to put next. So I think this is a new way. I have not explored it yet, but I think it will be beneficial in the way it makes your management of all these libraries very easy. So just paste them, and I think that will be all. We have the Kotlin dependencies. So anytime you make any changes to build.gradle files, you have to sync your project. Okay, so right here you can see there is a gray line, yellow line, and just clicking on sync now, it will go through all the scripts and it will make the necessary changes. For example, in the build.gradle file we have added this class path, so it will download the necessary libraries and then add the references to these libraries as well, and simply we will be able to access the Firebase Analytics library in our code. So we are not going into the code, that was just an overview. After you have done that, everything is complete. Your app is connected to the console, Firebase console. Continue to the console. So that was it. It was a bit tricky situation because some things are different in the guide than what actually is present here, but no issues. Once you are familiar with this, once you've gone through the video, I hope that you will never face any problems when setting up Firebase in your system. So that was all. If you want to add more and more of these services, you just need to add few lines. For example, you can see this is implementation is for Firebase Auth. This implementation is for Firebase Firestore. Okay, so similarly, let us see, for analytics we already have added analytics. A real-time database, let us select from Android. Okay, so this is that. You just need to copy such lines. Implementation, you just remember that you have this line at the top of your dependencies, so that you can get an idea that all the versions will, all the libraries that you are adding afterwards will have the same version. So just like that, paste it here, com.google.firebase. I will post a link to all the libraries that are possible. Let me see, I might get them. Okay, so this link will have, I think, all of them listed below. If not, I will provide some other link. Okay, so here it is. So using BOM, we are specifying 26.0, 26.3.0, and subsequently we can add all of these: Firebase function, Firebase Firestore, Firebase Auth. So just go through the documentation for setting up Firebase, adding Firebase to an app, and here you can find list of all of these things. Similarly, in iOS we will have a similar list, but with a different configuration, or yeah, we use Pod. Pod will automatically download these and add them before running the project. In Android we are building it, and whenever we are syncing our build.gradle files, it will automatically add them. So okay, these are the various ways. I will just add this link to the description so that you can get easier with that. Okay, so that was all about installing Firebase and adding that to your application, registering them on the platform, downloading the configuration file, etc. and etc. This was all focused on the Android application. I'm very sorry, but I do not have access to a MacBook, so I won't be uploading videos regarding installing or adding Firebase to iOS applications. But I will do make a video regarding website. So there will be a lot of websites, actually, not only Node.js. I will add it to Python, Flask website, a Django website. There are a lot of combinations that we can have on the website side, because there are so many frameworks there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a bit lengthy for the task that I wanted to achieve, but still it was pretty detailed. I hope that you like the video, and if you don't, you can criticize in the comments. Otherwise, you can show your support by dropping a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon so that you can get the latest notifications. Now, regarding the next video, we'll be talking about adding authentication to this demo Android project so that your users will be able to sign in with their email and password. Thank you and take care. See you in the, hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.